Hey guys, it's Simon with TRADENPERFORM Coaching. Wanted to go through one of the setups I have on ES for the members of the room. One of the skill sets you have to have is to be able to think quickly when we're doing a trade setup, right? So you're not frozen while making that decision. How do you operate quickly in your head, right? And so we have these principles of drawing these profiles on 3 bars or 4 bars where algos fire up, right? So I want to show you just a general idea of how to spot turns in the market. I'm going to use Friday as an example. It wasn't the easiest day in the world, but I'm going to go to a 2-range bar on this and see if everyone can, if this will help everyone in the understanding. All right. So there's a couple requirements I want, and let's get rid of the, for now, let's get rid of the VWAP trade idea. Just hide that. And what I'm going to focus on are these yellow and blue speed bars, right? And so the idea, let's get a little bit past 9 o'clock to let the thing set up, or at least 8:30. So when I look in the morning, right, and I look at, so I'm interested in the amount of energy that's spent when the market's coming down, like in this channel, right? And as you know, in the room, we started the process by looking for 3 or 4 bar combos. So the easiest way to do this is shortcut around the speed bars, right? So let me show you what I mean by that. See, when we're coming down, I know the speed bar tells me this is where my strongest seller was, my last strongest seller on the way to setting this low. So when I'm looking, I can have 2 assumptions. First of all, if I know that if I close with a positive bar with a point of control above, I have a good chance of going higher because this was the last guy to make a stand. These 2 are supplemental. I can use them. They pushed back and failed. So as soon as you closed above them, they created the short squeeze, but the real release came here. And I say that because you can see the consolidation on top of that location, right? So the next thing I can do is I can assume that the 3 bars around that speed bar are important, right? So 1, 2, 3, and I can gain a point of control from those 3. So in this case, that point of control comes right here, where the orange line is. And then the trigger came at the same point, the point of control of the positive bar. And I want to use about a 5-point stop on this trade max. And you can see here in this case from Friday morning, that let the market roll from 3,915 up to 3,924, right? And you can keep that process going as we're rolling along. So for example, so this fits in with all the other philosophies that we have going in the room. And before I continue, forgot to do this, if you'd please read this disclaimer. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing my trade plan with you in hopes that it makes you a better trader, but my trade plan isn't for everyone, right? So when you look at this, as we're coming up, we set a new high up here, right? I'm just going to follow along in my trading. New high. That means this is the last strongest place someone attempted to push lower, right? So I know inherently when I erase all my lines, right, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go, oh, well, I know pretty good that if I close underneath here with a point of control, I have a good chance of going lower, right? And then if I want to improve that a little bit, I can look at where the point of control is combined to improve my entry, right? So 1, 2, 3 bars and a highlight. And I know my point of control from these 3 bars that all the volume went off right over here, okay? Because that's what the profile is telling me. So if I put my marker here instead, right, my entry goes here. That improves my entry by almost a full point. And my 5-point stop, which puts me at 1675 to 2175. I'm well within reach of being able to survive that trade, and it gives me the roll down. Now, if you'll watch, all right, we'll get another seller over here on the way down. So if I'm looking for the reversal, right, as we push down, I want to see 1 or 2 things. I either want to see where the seller comes or when we get above the point of control, but I'm trying to weed out the iffy spots, right? So this right here normally, so this was weird because we actually got a reversal bar over here. So I'm going to assume the market jumped in an odd way. You usually don't see this gap occur. So I know an algo fired there to have that type of bar. But if I draw these 3 bars, I know this is the point of control I have to get above with a positive bar in order to go higher. So if I extend that out, right, if I extend that out, this is the first positive bar with a point of control above. In this case, it extends from 1550 to 1850, 3 points, right? So sometimes we have to make an adjustment, and part of the problem with this trade was this is pushing you right into the 50-60 back on the rotation down. By the same virtue, see how I have this speed bar up right here? This is the last place they push. So I can flip it around because I know each time we violate that speed bar that I'm likely to go lower, right? Remember, at all times, the idea of having what's in back of your basic strategy for where you think the market's going will play a large role. This can only help you get in. Well, once you have an idea of where you want to be long from a higher time frame, then this makes a lot of sense. For example, if I was looking at this chart in real time, I'm going to go, hey, this is the last place they pushed before we created a new low here, right? I'm going to look at those 3 bars. And I'm going to say, in general, when I get a positive bar above the point of control of these 3 bars, we should have a good chance of pushing out higher, right? So I draw it around here. Where would I get long? I'm going to get long on this bar right here. And I'm going to put a 5-point stop in. So my stop's going to go down here at 09. And what I'm logically going to do is my risk reward gets smaller and smaller as it pushes back. I'm going to add more and more to this trade. And at the end of the day, I know in order to push higher, I'm going to need a full close above this bar. That's the other way. There we go. Once I get this bar, my confidence level skyrockets, right? So first it's just getting above the point of control, which occurred on this bar, right? And then it's actually physically getting the point of control above this bar. But once that happens, I'm pretty sure I've got them trapped, and I can look for a better extension to the upside. In this case, right, from over here, this ended up giving you an entry. This would have been your first entry at 1250. And it gave you a roll almost up of 28 points. Actually, I don't remember if we caught this or not in the rim. But this becomes an extremely easy way for you to tell where the buyers and sellers are hidden and what has to break. So, for example, when we pushed up over here, right, if I thought we could roll down, which I was very hesitant of, so I would have to have location, right? But I would say, if I get underneath this 3-bar combo right here, right? So this is the bar I'd be short on, even in this case, right? I still get a push, assuming my entry is right. Actually, my entry is right here. Take it back. So my entry is 20, and it still rolls down to give me 4 or 5 points, right? In ES. So again, what I'm doing is very simple. When I see my last push up with a speed bar, I'm drawing a 3-bar combo, and I want to be in an area. I want to have a general idea. Like if you look at this chart, we thought we could get gap fill on this thing, right? So it's going to be, hey, I'm looking for shorts, or hey, I'm looking for longs in order to make that idea or that concept work, right? And so I just want to go back and jump back a little bit further. I want to go to Monday with this same idea before we roll down. And what I want to find is, right, this idea of I want to see how it would perform on trend up. So if I look at where the last thrusts begin, I'm looking for a blue speed bar, right? So this blue speed bar is what I have to get underneath in order to go lower, right? I'm looking on the left-hand side. So it's the blue speed bars. This is the law. I'm going to mark them off. I'd have to get underneath here. So and there's a distinction you have to make, and I'm not sure exactly what rule I'm going to write around it, but I will write a rule. But I prefer the speed bar for a breakdown to come on the left side of the apex. So this would be valid, right? Even though we're in a hard uptrend. If we closed underneath the point of control of these 3 bars, I would assume some lower, right? This is hard trend up, so it's pushing, it's pushing, it's pushing. Remember, we didn't have a problem with this. We knew we were in trend up, so it was just kind of leaving it alone. But see, once it starts to stretch out again and you get out of these consolidation blocks, They actually make strives to the high. So see how this blue bar right here, this is the last apex bar before the high. This is the high right here. So if I take those 3 bars, all right, 1, 2, 3. Point of control has to be right around here. There we go. It's right there. So if I short this bar, okay, so this is tricky, right? Because you're on a trend day up and they keep pushing it up towards the high, right? So you'll notice this is the first time underneath, and even though it did push down 3 or 4 points, you would have entered on this bar, and you'd probably gotten 3 points, would have been really lucky on this, right? But then it came back again, and what it did is a full 50-60 retrace. So odds are with a 5-point stop, 95.75 to, that would be 39. Oh, you survived. I stand corrected. If you took that trade, pushed back, you survived, and you got paid all the way down. So, again, this is supposed to be just a short video to help people improve, right? If you look at where the speed bars are off the higher time frame, the apex speed bar, so the blue speed bar is a bullish speed bar, right? I need to get under it. The yellow is a bearish speed bar. I need to get over it. So just make the assumption that if you have a speed bar, right, like if I'm over here, I'm just going to come down to a low, where I'm looking for a potential reversal. Let me come over here and see where that was on Tuesday. I think we had it in the morning early on. Okay. So even at 8:42, right? See how this thrusts to a low by a tick? So my assumption is if I get above this speed bar here, we're going higher. I can cheat by furthermore going up and drawing the profile of the 3 bars around the speed bar. See the point of control is right there, and as soon as you get the point of control above those 3 bars, it rockets, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I would have said the same thing over here, right? I would have even said the same thing over here. Once you get underneath it, if you get above, that's where they're going to take off from. And it's not just this day, right? It would be any day where you have pretty good down, which we had a couple of days in here. So this is into the low. Right, so again, what I want is I want it to close underneath. You can see there's no chance of getting above over here, right? I want it to come down, so I could use this 3 bars a combo, right? I'm going to assume those 3 bars are a combo. See that? So if I draw, there's the point of control, there's the bar above, and it lifts away. As I come down here, it's not this bar, it becomes this bar right here, these 3. There's my point of control. There's my bar above. Gave some wiggle back. You needed to stop. But it takes off for you. And then what I'm trying to find in doing the review, but I don't want to hang this up all day long, is where the stops come. Like, but they're just hard to find. Like you never get set up here. You don't get set up on this one. You do get set up here. You do get set up here. See how it trades above? You don't here and here. What I want is the bar to get closed above and then get back below. This would be your first kind of 3 bar combo right here where you would have gotten, this never got a chance to get below. This did right there. See, once you got the bar underneath, it did go a little bit in your favor and you got 2 chances to cover it profitably, but it never really, it took a long time to roll. Like, I don't know that I would have survived that trade, even though technically it worked, right? Your entry would have been here. Let's see if it got stopped. 71, so 71 and a quarter, 76 and a quarter would have stopped you out, right? And then you would have had to come right back on it, following process, right over here. You would have done the same thing again. 2, 3, bar got traded above. This bar is your entry, and you just hit a home run off of that. That was just mucho pay dirt. So anyways, that's my 2 cents, guys. If you have any questions or you'd like to ask for a trial in the room, the email is TRADENPERFORM, TRADENPERFORM @gmail.com. And my name is Simon. Again, guys, this is the setup I'm going to be working around, especially when the market's fast. It's easy for me to draw it up, and it works on a high time frame, right? It works well off the 2 range, that particular configuration, and it doesn't matter where you go. So if you have questions, guys, hit me up on the either on Twitter or members in the room, hit me on the Slack channel. I'm happy to clarify. Hopefully that helped, and I'll be talking to this about everyone with this in the coaching session. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Have a great day.